Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing KULT Divinity Lost role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is The Black Madonna, and it's available from Helmcast. I am the Game Master, and this is Episode 2. Our recap will be given by Morgan Llewellyn as his character, Ingolf Eckhart. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Morgan?
It is fascinating how quickly dreams can bleed into nightmare. The Golden Plaque Awards. Every year I go, every year I wallow in obscurity. The judges never pay any attention to us genre writers. Still, there are important reasons to go. There were 6 of us at the table, each with their own motivations for attending. For me, it was the hope of a translation that seems will never come to pass. Others were looking for connections or to confront rivals. It also seems that the place was haunted by old ghosts. Philip Kramer, an artist long lost to drugs, alcohol, and apparently devil worship, stared at me with contempt lurking in his eyes. And there were 2 others with him who also turned to look at me. I barely knew Kramer, so why he and those others would harbor such feelings towards me, I can't even begin to guess. Stranger still, he was with Magda Orlova, who turned out to be his ex-wife. Magda herself was delightful, and she knew all of us at our table. With a kiss and reminiscing on old times, our conversation too seemed haunted by old ghosts. She had moved from Berlin back to Hamburg, and we made plans for brunch to make up for lost time. We left the Golden Plaque Awards in high spirits, some searching to indulge in lecherous impulses, one to drink away the paranoia of watching shadows, while the rest of us went to bed. Then the sickness, an all-consuming sickness. We all experienced Magda's dream, the dream of feeling small in a tenebrous place filled with bodiless sound. The dreams from someone who had seemed to age 10 years in 2. Someone who was hiding an illness. Our joy of reunion had bled into feverish delirium and wasted days. Miller got a phone call from a woman named Irene Adler. Magda seems to be missing. There is a meeting scheduled at Cafe Demonum. With the sickness passing, I'm trying to move my weakened yet improving frame. I need to get to that cafe. I need answers. What the hell is happening to us?
All right. Is there anything anybody would like to do before we go to the cafe? Any research?
Yes. On my way out of the hotel, I'm going to stop at the front desk and speak with the concierge or whoever is in charge.
Yes, ma'am. What can I do for you?
I was delivered mail yesterday morning, and someone had opened it. Who is in charge here? Who would be delivering my mail? I want to talk to this person. My mail is very private.
Well, we have regular deliveries of mail every day.
Are you the person that handles the mail?
No, ma'am. I'm the concierge. But we don't have an employee. It's the mail is delivered by the mailman.
And the mailman brings it up to my room?
Well, no, it's brought up to your room. It would have been brought up to your room probably by just an orderly or somebody. They call them orderlies, not it's a hospital. By a bellboy or.
Where's the manager? I would like to speak to. No, I some boy. Where is the manager?
Just a moment. He goes. He has to make a phone call to get the manager. Sure. But he says the manager will be with you in a few moments if you'd like to have a seat over there.
Fine. Bring me a coffee.
Yes, ma'am. And he brings you a coffee. Eventually the manager shows up. Ma'am, what can we do for you?
I pay hundreds of francs to stay here every night, and this is the service I get. Someone has opened my mail.
I am
one of your employees was opening my mail.
Do you remember which one it was, ma'am?
Probably not. I was probably too sick to.
Right.
Some boy. I don't know.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what I can do, ma'am. I can speak to them all and reprimand them. I'm sure it won't happen again. I can't imagine why anybody would want to open the mail.
See that doesn't. Then.
Was anything stolen?
Well, how would I know? What if someone sent me something important and now I don't know, it's gone?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Will you be staying another night?
Yes, I think so.
All right. We will make sure that it's complimentary and that you don't have to pay. We'll send up some food. We'll make it up to you.
Thank you very much. Did storm out.
All right. Do you storm out or do you go back to your room?
No, I would have done it on the way to the cafe.
All right. So you're heading for the cafe. John?
Yeah, I think I want to swing by the nearest pharmacy and pretty much buy them out of any stomach bug ailment headache medicine, Pro Plus tablets, caffeine, basically anything that will either perk me up or anything that will help me not pray to the porcelain god. Okay.
As you are feeling a little bit better this afternoon as the time is moving it forward. How are you going to pay with your how are you going to pay? Cash or credit?
Probably with cash. I've got a small amount that I carry with me, so it's not going to wipe me out, but probably put a dent in my already limited funds, considering I have to give a lot of it away.
All right. So you get whatever you need. Yes. Ingolf, are you going to do anything before the?
No, I will do everything in my power to drag myself to this cafe, though. I don't feel like moving, but.
Professor Hines, you've had a very rough night. Two rough nights. You're also out of your element because you live in Berlin, I believe, or outside Berlin.
Yes, yes, and I live in quite a what's now a very nice part of Berlin. It wasn't when I bought a flat there, but
so the added expense of a second night is.
Well, I can just about afford it, I think, but I think I'll probably bump into Mr. Miller because my intention is to go straight to the pharmacy and buy some milk of magnesia or some stomach powders or some such.
Let's say that you meet there. You accidentally bump into one another as Miller is coming out with sacks of.
Mr. Miller.
Hello
Miller. I was just on my way to the pharmacy. Is there anything left?
My funds wouldn't allow me to buy as much as I'd like, but so yeah, there's definitely some room left on the shelf. Are you also in the need of chugging the pink liquid as well?
I feel absolutely dreadful. I've barely moved for the last couple of days. I don't understand it.
Did you eat the salmon mousse as well?
I don't know what I ate, but it definitely didn't agree with me.
Yeah, I was thinking something. I disagreed with something that ate me, or it felt like being eaten anyway.
I think plain food is the order of the day. I think, and very little of it.
Yes, I'm thinking something lots of dry food as well.
If you don't mind, if you'd like to wait for a moment, I'll just go and buy something in here, and I'll accompany you over to the cafe if you don't mind.
Sure. Is it walking distance?
Sure.
Okay. So I don't need to drive there. So yeah, we can walk there together.
It's Hamburg. I mean, it's within walking distance, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe it'll be nice to get out in the air for a bit. And
Yes,
Dietrich,
just
what are you
as
going to do?
long as we stay clear of the Reaper barn. I don't know.
No,
Told to avoid that place.
now that I'm well enough to keep down a cup of coffee and a cigarette, I'm going to pick up an extra pack on the way. But I've just been lying low in the hotel room and enjoying a little bit of peace and quiet relative to normal days, enjoying to the extent that one can while breaking out in a cold sweat.
Your wife would like to know what time you would like to leave and go back. She
So
can pack everything.
So
up.
Selma did not go back to open this door. I think we left that as an open question.
Nothing had
last week.
happened. That's up to you what you want to have happen.
So I guess that the conversation we'll have about that is that hopefully we'll be on the road again this evening. But if this turns out to be something, maybe I'll send her back with the car and get a train after.
Sure.
Just so we don't lose any more custom. I assume that we have at least one part-time employee who operated the shop during the weekend. I don't think it's just,
I mean, otherwise you'd have to work 7 days.
Yeah. So we've probably been open, but it's probably good to have somebody keeping an eye on things who's actually in ownership capacity. So hopefully tonight, hopefully after supper. Also, it depends on whether she feels like driving. Normally I do, but I'm still not probably up for that.
Right.
So we'll see.
All right. So the afternoon comes and you guys arrive at the cafe, not at exactly the same time, but more or less. Should mention that Dieter has told you that he is absolutely convinced that somebody is following him, and he is going to lay low for a bit. But keep in touch, he says. All right.
One day he'll learn it's his own shadow.
All right. So you guys arrive at the cafe. This turns out to be one of those little overly expensive cafes. The coffees are too expensive, but whatever. And Irene Adler is sitting at a little round table, and she's like, "Oh, you made it. Excellent. Please, have a seat, go order some coffee. Have you heard anything from Magda?"
Nothing yet. Pretty much the
I've
only person we heard anything from is you.
I was hoping that something would happen, that she would show up or call somebody or contact somebody. But so far, I haven't been able to get a hold of her. I called her apartment here in Hamburg. Fortunately, I don't know her number or her location in Berlin. But I'd be surprised if she went back to Berlin. I mean, she's talked about it occasionally, but I mean, she just arrived here, a while ago, a few weeks ago.
Did you try going by her place? I mean, for the last 2 days, I haven't been answering the phone or anything. I felt terrible.
I did go by and knocked on her door, but there was no reply. Oh, for goodness sake. And she fiddles around in her purse and she says, "I have a key." She says she gave me a key. I completely forgot about this. I mean, we're friends. We've been friends, for quite a while. I mean, would you mind going by and checking?
Sure.
No, if she got whatever we got, she might need a little assistance, honestly.
You're all sick?
Yeah, I assume it was something we ate at the event.
I don't know if that's true, Dietrich. I didn't eat much of anything at the event.
Well,
Well-
you didn't eat much, but it's not as though, you can't get a bacterium on a crumb.
Bad water too.
No.
You never know.
How long have you known Magda? You know she's a bit eccentric, if you will. She's kind of a hypochondriac. I mean, you've certainly noticed how she was dressed. Overly clothed, and she wears too much perfume by far.
Yeah, the cologne was a bit much. Yeah.
She's obsessed with washing her hands.
She looked terrible though. Like I would have believed her if she told me she was sick.
Ever since she came back from Berlin, I mean, when she got here from Berlin, I was quite concerned myself. She didn't look well at all. She's I gotta stop saying She was in prison, in East Germany.
Hmm.
Right,
Some people didn't like her work, I
Professor.
believe.
Well, yes, she wrote that book, the one about the black market in East Berlin. The government didn't like anybody talking about the black market.
Mm.
People were making millions of Deutschmarks while other people were waiting in line for toilet paper. The government, I mean, it's the truth, but the government doesn't want you to know the truth.
Well, it's not hard. I understand.
That may
to
be
get-
sorry.
Yeah. Well, the getting on the wrong side of the Stasi is not a good idea.
No, indeed. So she was in prison for 2 years, and then when the wall fell, she came over to West Berlin and lived there for quite a while, and then she wanted to move back to Hamburg. She said because she was disturbed that something in Berlin had disturbed her a great deal, and that she was having bad dreams. But yes, and now she's disappeared.
Were you close at all with her ex-husband, Kramer?
Oh, Philip Kramer? No, I hardly ever. I mean, she talked about him occasionally.
You haven't reached out to him since the gala?
Well, I don't know how to contact him.
I wonder if he got sick as well.
Their relationship was not a good one. He's quite abusive. The more drugs and alcohol he got involved in, the more abusive he became. But she went. When she got out and went to Berlin, I mean, I think she rekindled her relationship, at least to some degree.
They seem close now.
She's an odd woman, and she sort of looks around. She's had her mental problems. She's seen a number of psychiatric doctors. She's been in a few institutions. Her life has not been an easy one.
Well, and as far as having aged badly since I saw her last, a couple of years in East German prison will certainly not do anything good for one's complexion.
But she didn't look that bad when she came back, when she came to Berlin. I mean, I've known her since the 80s, and she does definitely, ever since she got back to Berlin, something has aged her. Something is her.
You mean when she returned to
paranoid.
Hamburg?
No. When she got to Berlin, she's just come to Hamburg in the last few weeks because she wanted to get away from Berlin. I don't know if it has anything to do with Philip or not, but she hasn't said anything about that. In any case, if you would do me the favor of going by and checking to see if she's there, you could. Here's my card. You could mail me back the key if you want to later.
I'll take it if no one else goes to grab it first.
You don't want to come with us, Irene?
Unfortunately, I have an appointment this afternoon with the editor from that German magazine.
Die Zeit, yes.
But do tell me if she's all right.
Yeah, we'll call you as soon as we've gotten some sense of what's happening with her.
And that's pretty much it, unless you guys want to ask questions or.
Now, none of us know Adler, right?
You know that she's the what was it? The editor for the Survey German magazine. I think some of you knew.
I think I
John
remember
did. John did.
contact.
Yeah.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah.
Could I read a person and see what maybe her motivations are in all of this?
Sure.
15.
Nice. You can. Is there questions you can ask? Yeah.
Yes, I have the list. Are sorry, I'm thinking. Are you lying? I guess that'd be the first one. Like, is she lying about this situation and maybe her role in it?
She is not.
Okay. And yeah, just because I have the extortionist advantage. What is she afraid of?
I think she's mostly afraid that something bad might have happened to Magda.
Sure.
Magda doesn't always move in the best circles to get her information, and that's what she's most concerned with.
Very well.
Anyone else? Okay. All right, so she leaves. You all are there for a few minutes if you want to talk to yourselves or if you want to figure out what to do.
You know, it's the damnedest thing. When I was laying there sick for 2 days, I kept having the dream that she described at dinner.
Yeah, I did too.
Make that 3.
Oh, me too. I mean, I was delirious for a fair amount of it, so I imagine I was suggestible. And she had that, that worn, sort of desperate look when she talked about not sleeping. But it seems like a bit of a stretch that we would all be so impressed.
You too, Heinz? You had this dream?
Indeed, yes. Good start.
Not very clear, like visually. A lot of times my dreams are, I can't dial a telephone, but I can, look around a hallway. But this was mostly just sensory. I just felt, dark and small, and there's that noise.
I typically have nightmares almost constantly, and they're always vivid. And this one was different. It was entirely different for me. How vague it was.
Well, we can't have all been in the same dream because I felt very much alone.
I think you have the right of it, Dietrich. So it's suggestibility. If Magda brings it up, we all get incredibly ill, and it's just on our minds.
Yeah.
Well, you then went off for an evening out, and I went back to the hotel. We had no contact with each other for the entire evening.
Yeah.
And we all had the same dream. That's not how dreams work. There are sensory triggers. I've read about it. this is something more. This is more than just a simple coincidence of something to do with suggestibility.
Well, maybe there's something, to Jung's collective unconscious, and we all got the same telegram from the same room and the Ur mind of the human species.
Yeah.
Her dream felt so specific to her experience. The last I talked to her before the Golden Plaque Awards, she was telling me about her experience as an only child during World War II, where all she really remembers from that time was being in a mental institution. I mean, as a young child, I could see how that would, being very small in a dark and strange place.
Did anyone have any odd sensation when they woke up, or rather, when they thought they woke up?
The sensation that my gastrointestinal tract was exploding. That wasn't odd, just, awful.
Beyond that.
You mean like Tom, did any of the rest of us experience like that weird red glow, dilapidated?
Not really.
No.
Although I think that that Dieter, after he took his shower, thought that there was somebody hanging outside of his window watching him.
Yes, the answer to that then, John, is no. It was just the dreams and the endless nausea.
There was definitely a cloud or some kind of aura around her, around Magda. I'm wondering if this is part of this. I want to use the term because it sounds very crass, but almost think of it as like a psychic contagion.
Go on.
Well, when I looked at her, I could see that there was definitely almost like rather than a metaphorical, a physical cloud over her. That there was definitely some tangible thing that was there because of maybe her sickness. I'm wondering if this is something that we've been infected with by being in close proximity or talking to her, and that this is something that's then latched onto us.
Well, I don't know how you saw this cloud. I mean, but is it around us?
Can I make a roll to see if it is? Are you using my enhanced awareness? Right. Yeah, I'm on the dice. 6 and 5 is 11 plus 3, 14.
So that gives you one question?
It's you get basic impressions regarding the location. So I'm looking to see if there's that same kind of cloud or maybe something to a lesser extent than that around us.
You look around at the other people and you're not really sure, but it sort of manifests as if each person was giving off a slight amount of smoke, black smoke. But it's not, it's almost not noticeable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I kind of squint my eyes and lean in a little bit and look around everyone. There's something
I would like to know how that makes everybody else feel.
I'm absolutely fascinated.
Well, I'm compelled to try to use my magical intuition to verify with my own perception.
I'm just inclined to think it's all a bunch of crap. Okay. All right, John.
Right. And I, with my -1 soul, have only an 8 in total. So
I'm going to get very far from Diedrich very fast.
Yeah, like hello, bad things.
You not here.
Right. So I'm attempting to learn if about the magical nature of myself and my comrades. But
intuition, we're looking at 8. It says you choose one option, but you get an unexpected vision or attract attention. So which option do you want? Oh, are you telling me?
I was going for learning and seeing about our magical natures.
There's something has a magical nature.
Since it's about seeing auras and the like.
Right. You notice that there is something that you can see sort of manifesting on everyone's skin. It's like their skin was slightly discolored, like it was redder in blotches than it should. But as you see that, you are sort of overcome with a sense of almost like you're about to pass out, that sort of black sparkles for a moment, and a sensory impression as if there were a gigantic bulbous worm of some sort, that sort of mushiness that's there, and then it's gone, and you have to steady yourself as you
Is this a keep it together situation? Or is it fleeting enough that I'm just sort of like...
It's fleeting enough that you're just sort of shocked by it. That's what you get for failing.
Yeah, John, I think you might be onto something. And it somewhat explains why, because I was confused why Zelma didn't get at all sick, given that she and I, shared food and drink. Maybe this contagion only affected people that knew her. We should pay up and get over to her place. She might be in more trouble than Irene thinks.
Recalling the conversation from last night,
Mm-hmm.
Did Dietrich's wife actually talk to Magda at any point in the conversation?
I'm sure she said something gracious or friendly or whatever.
But didn't talk anywhere near as much as we did?
Probably not.
Okay, so I'm thinking of things that separate her from what we did versus what she did. If she didn't interact with her, maybe that's how it's transmitted.
I'm wondering, didn't Magda kiss us on both cheeks? Well, not Petra.
Right. And not your wife either. She just sort of, took her hand.
Right.
You see, I mean, it seems reasonable. That was, we have to look at times when we were all in the same place together. And that would be the key moment. And the relation of our dreams to her description of her dream would suggest that is the moment when something happened. I can't for the life of me remember anything that stood out.
It's something more than a dream, though.
No. Tom, for clarity, I assume that I also glanced at people at nearby tables and their skin did not share this disorder.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I wasn't like I had a general hallucination of humans as diseased. It was that we've got something, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So. John's onto something.
You said more than a dream? What do you mean?
Well, is either something more than a dream or something less than a dream. It's somewhere in between the two. That dreams are quite special, quite unique. But when I thought I woke up, I still saw things. And I know I wasn't asleep. This is something between waking and sleeping, something stuck in the middle.
Is there like, are there napkins about?
Sure.
All right, I would like to use forbidden inspiration. I kind of want this to kind of start writing to gain insight into the hotel that John and I stayed in.
This is, I'm sorry, what was it called again?
Forbidden inspiration.
Inspiration. Whenever you deep dive into your art and allow yourself to be inspired by the truth, roll plus soul. Okay, yeah.
$22.
Nice. Choose two options.
I would like to see through the illusion into a specific place of my choice, and that would be our hotel. And then I would also choose inspiration. So anything strange or supernatural about the situation that we're in. So revelation, these will be answered through my art.
So does that mean that you would draw something that would lead you into?
Yeah, I would be writing a story or something that would reveal these details.
All right, let's see. You begin drawing on the napkin, and let's see. The first one was about your hotel. Oddly enough, nothing in particular comes to mind except that your hotel is meaningless or unimportant to any of the situation. But the other question, or the other thing, there's definitely you're seeing kind of a layout. You're starting to draw like a layout of the venue when you were there, and you draw a circle where your table is and a circle where their table is, and kind of like energy flowing between the two tables. For some reason that dot is you, but the energy is not flowing at just you. It's flowing at all of you. And it's coming from those three dots near Magda. So there's something weird or
maybe it wasn't Magda. Those three men who were with her. At the award dinner.
Kramer, who else?
I didn't recognize the other two, but definitely one of them was Philip Kramer.
So she might be a carrier of this, but not a point of origin. We should go to Magda's right away.
Alternatively, she was a target, and our association with her has now made us targets. Dieter was convinced we were being followed.
Doesn't he strike you as paranoid, though?
Yes, he does. And normally I would have brushed him off, but with all of this other
Even
stuff going
paranoiacs
on.
have enemies.
I mean, why would they? I don't think they would have any need to follow us.
I don't know. That
But
possibly
Particularly
just
if this has happened to us by accident, as you say, then certainly it would seem unnecessary to follow. They may not know.
Accidental collateral almost.
Hmm.
No, or if it is something like a disease.
And they were with Magda, and Magda, as you said, had that cloud. Maybe if they were drawing from her and onto us, or if Philip was responsible for Magda's dream and illness, and then had a similar effect on us.
you said he was involved in some strangeness. I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Was like this is more of a question for the GM. Thinking back to the order of things that happened last night,
Mm-hmm.
were those three guys looking at us and then Magda came over, or was it they were only looking at us when Magda had come over?
They were looking at you for quite a while before. Well, not for quite a while. For a few moments, they seemed to become alarmed. They made their exit to. They obviously must have said something to Magda to that, and they left. And they kept glancing back at you as they walked out the door. And then Magda was sort of left there alone. Of course, there's lots of other people around. And she glanced around and then she noticed you and smiled and came over.
Hmm.
And the two strangers, I mean, the only person who saw them looking was Ingolf, right?
He was the only one kind of paying attention, yeah.
So it's not clear whether they were looking at all of us or at him for the rest of us.
Correct.
I have this impression that those three have done something to us. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know if you believe me or not, but I don't know.
You know, I believe the dreams that I've had and the sickness that I've experienced. I believe that John can tell there's something wrong with us, and I can too. Yeah, I don't know what.
Well, shall we go to Magda's apartment and see if she's there?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes, I think if anyone will know.
Yeah.
All right. So it doesn't take you long to get to Magda's apartment. It's in a fairly nice neighborhood. Her apartment is on the 3rd floor. The key actually gets you into the building as well. So, it's an apartment building. You go up to her room and what do? You knock. You knock. There's no answer.
So it's a fairly nice building. The key we were given opens the front door, and I guess it's got an apartment number on a ring or something. Do we go upstairs inside?
Yes.
And we don't see people in particular, but it's a comfortably appointed building.
Yeah, there's probably a few people getting their mail and stuff like that.
What's her door look like? Is there a doorbell, a knocker?
There is neither doorbell nor knocker, but there is there is a slot for mail. Okay, I just said people go downstairs for mail. In this case, there's a slot for mail. They don't go downstairs for mail.
What about neighbors?
She's got one. There's one door across from her. That's it. There's not a lot of apartments on a single floor. So she's like got one half, and he's got another. And the apartment complex looks like it's maybe eight floors high.
I'm going to go and knock on the door of the neighbor across the hall.
Okay. The door is answered by a man. He looks like he's maybe in his late 20s. He says, yes, what can I do for you?
I'm awfully sorry to disturb you, young man. We are friends of Frau Orlova, who lives across the hall. We've been attending a conference in town, and we've all been struck down with absolutely awful food poisoning, and no one's heard from Frau Orlova for a couple of days. We're quite worried. We wondered if you or anyone else in the building had a duplicate key, perhaps, for her apartment.
No, I don't think anybody in the building has a key, but the manager would. But he lives off property.
Do you have a number for him?
Sure. Just give me a few moments. He goes inside.
Yes, of course.
Really quick.
Heinz, we have a key.
You have a key? Why did no one tell me you have a key?
I thought it was only to get through the front door.
No, it's the same. I don't know how keys work. His name is Ernst Wellman, and here's his number. I hope she's all right. I don't really know her. I see her occasionally, but that's all.
Yes, we hope she's all right as well. She seemed a little bit under the weather at the conference, and as I say, we've all been terribly ill. Most of us are still recovering.
Well, I hope she's okay.
We'll try knocking again. Thank you for your help. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, and so he goes back in his room.
Can I have read him while he's doing that, just to make sure he's not lying and
Sure.
that he's not like keeping an eye on her apartment or something? That is 10 plus 1, 11.
Okay, you can ask. Well, do you want to know if he was lying?
That's
it doesn't
my
seem like he's lying. In fact, it seems like he's not really involved in any of this at all. He's just a dude.
Blissfully ignorant.
So what would you like to do now?
Open that door.
All right.
There isn't an obvious stench in the hall or anything.
There's not.
Yeah. We should just see if she's passed out in the tub.
All right. You open up the door, and there is a little pile of mail lying on the floor in front of the door. You can see it's a fairly nice apartment, but it's messy. There's like clothing strewn around the room here and there. There is a let's see if I can describe it. There's the mirror on one wall. There's a closet door, like a coat jacket, coat hanging closet. There's a pair of gloves lying on a table near the mirror, and there is what looks like a train timetable. And those of you who can see a little bit farther into the room, you can see that there is an answering machine with a light blinking on it.
Okay, well,
That's what you can see from the hall.
Head on in and make my way in so people can follow in behind, so we're not like all crowded in the corridor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start shuffling through her mail because I'm nosy.
Well, I'll make sure to close the door behind us.
Right.
So we don't attract any
Magda?
undue attention.
There is no answer. Dietrich, you look at the mail. You find 3 letters. You find a lot of bills and things, but 3 letters of significance.
Right. She's in touch with, she's getting a mail forward from her address in Germany, from her address in Berlin. So let's make a note of her address in Berlin. She's on Leibnizstraße 97. And she's got some mail here from Alberto Mirandola in Barcelona. Does that name ring a bell? Anybody?
Not here, no.
There's this one.
And she's also another Berliner. She's getting mail from Arnold Weiss. I don't know him.
It's that one.
Oh, and a postcard from a Piotr in Russian. What is that?
Postmark Frankfurt.
Oh, good eye. Who's got the best Russian?
I know some.
It's a short message.
I have a bit of Russian.
Okay.
Can any of us translate that?
It's something about the band ELO. That's all I can tell.
Pietro is a name, isn't it?
Yeah, Piotr is just Peter.
I was going to say, Professor Hines, could you roll for Russian? Yeah, it's hard not to do that in this game. You have a little Russian?
Well, I mean, yes, I studied the history of the Soviet Union at great length. So yes, I speak Russian.
So all it says is I have seen him, and it is signed Piotr.
And the him is rather heavily
correct
emphasized. Pity that Peter didn't want to share his last name or tell us who him was. Let's start going room to room.
Yes.
She looked like she was planning to leave, but it doesn't seem like she left. She would have taken her gloves.
I think I'll go straight to looking in the bedroom. I think if she's going to be anywhere, she's probably going to be in there, and she could be very ill. So
okay. Well, for the sake of the game, let's take these rooms one by one as we go. So bedroom. You walk towards the bedroom. There's an unmade bed. The wardrobe door is open. Half of its contents have been thrown on the floor. Oddly enough, there are like 20 or so earplugs that lie on the mattress, crumpled as if they'd been used. There is a dead ivy in a hanger near the window. And it's pretty much what you see in there.
Yes, loads of them. Look, they're all over the floor. They look like they've been used. I think.
How thin are these walls?
Is she handling that?
Is she hearing neighbors too much? You think? This apartment building seemed pretty sparse.
She might have had an oversensitivity to sound if she had migraine or something.
Let's see, since you guys are looking around, there's a kitchen. Says a mouse disappears into the shadows as the characters into the room. The kitchen counter runs along one wall while the other has a pantry, a fridge, and a freezer. There's a simple folding table with 2 wicker chairs near the window. There are piles of dirty dishes stacked on the kitchen counter, and the sink is full of spoiled food that's going bad. The garbage hasn't been emptied, so it smells. So now you got some smells going on. There are 20 discarded frozen dinner boxes that are stacked against the microwave oven. And there is a calendar on the wall that is turned to August.
And the bathroom?
Bathroom. There are 5 empty Valium boxes in the medicine cabinet. There are empty packets of clozapine and olzapine that lie on the floor. At least that's what the bottles say.
Subscribe to Magda.
Yes, correct.
Chloroprosamine?
Correct. Clozapine and olazapine. There is a plastic laundry basket overflowing with dirty clothes and strewn across the floor. There is also evidence that somebody has been vomiting in the toilet. There are also packs of ointments and soap, liquid soap, that have been emptied, and they're all over the place too. Like she'd had some sort of obsession with washing.
Are all these? Go ahead.
I was gonna say the specifically on the chloroprosamine. Is it empty?
It is empty.
When was a refill date on it?
Probably a month ago.
It's September now, and the calendar's still in August. I'm wondering if she hasn't been here for a while.
Is there any dates? Are there any dates on the calendar, like circled or anything written on the calendar? Do this, do that.
Well, let's see.
Said she only got here recently, right?
There are, in fact, 8 handwritten names that are on various dates on the calendar. I don't have a list of them, but you can just call them the dates.
Okay. But there's like people, first name, last name, like people.
Yeah, in fact, all of them seem to be doctors.
Oh.
A few of them are repeated. In fact, as you look at them, 6 of them are definitely doctors that are in Hamburg, and the other ones are in Berlin. And it's like she's got appointments with them. But they're all over the place. She's seeing at least 6 doctors.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of doctors.
If you recall, Irene said that she was a hypochondriac.
Yes, but sorry. So I'm trying to figure out when her prescription ran out because the bottle's empty.
Well, those would have ran out a month ago. She could have had other bottles. She doesn't seem to be in the apartment.
We have to check the closets and things, but I don't think she's here. One reason to see a lot of doctors is to get multiple prescriptions for the same depressant drugs.
This isn't a. This is a.
Clozapine is an antipsychotic.
Psychotic, yeah.
Does anyone know if she had a history of psychosis or
institutionalized more than once?
It worries me just as much that someone might have prescribed something that she didn't need. That could have a disastrous effect as well.
So there's a lot of clothing spilled on the floor from the closet. Is there luggage anywhere?
There is not.
I'm going to have a look at the gloves and train schedule.
Okay. The train schedule is a train schedule for uh, this week, and it's from Hamburg to Berlin. She's circled one of the things. But
Is
it would have
it,
been, she would have left late afternoon, day before yesterday, or the day that it would have been after your meeting with her.
I'm going to have a look around either any phone table or bookcase, anything where it looks like there might be an address book.
Yeah. There is a little phone table with a telephone on it and an answering machine that is blinking. And there is an address, one of those flippy address things. It looks like there's over 200 addresses in there.
So like a Rolodex type thing.
Oh, like, yeah, a little Rolodex thing.
I'm going to start looking through that and see if I can find addresses that are in Frankfurt, thinking of that postmark.
While you're looking through that, John, also see she has one for Philip Kramer.
True. Yeah. See if names come up.
All right. Let's see. There are 240 addresses.
Might be a while. One day people will put these things on computers and you can search them really quickly. That would be remarkably helpful.
Let's see here. The only Frankfurt to order that you find is for a mental institute. At the moment, I can't find the name of the mental institute. I don't see an address for Philip Kramer. Oh no, there's an address for Philip Kramer.
Aha. Yep, that's definitely getting written down. Likewise for the one for the asylum.
Probably a phone number too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Once I've seen those, hit that play button.
Hello, Magda. This is Selma Zimmerman, Dietrich's wife. We met last night at the Gold Pack dinner. We were supposed to meet you today for lunch, but unfortunately, my husband seems to have come down with the flu. We did so enjoy our conversation last night. Dietrich says that he'll call you as soon as he's feeling better. Ciao. Magda, my dear, it's Irene. You seem to have forgotten our appointment. Is everything all right? You seemed in such a good mood when last we talked. Are you still thinking of returning to Berlin? You need to give me your number and address so that we can stay in touch. Call me, dear.
Well, that was creepy as hell. What? Phil?
do you think we should call the Philip right away?
He knows something.
Yeah, he's in distress.
Well, we've got his address. We can either phone him or we can just turn up and knock on his door. You can't exactly hang up if we're stood on his doorstep.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, it's the immediacy. I mean, I think that if we call and if he hangs up, then we can go pay him a visit in person.
Gives him time to
Oh, that's true.
leave.
That's true.
He seems very panicked. Where's Magda? She doesn't have a suitcase.
No. There's no suitcase here.
Right. So so presumably it's with her. I mean, yeah.
Where did she go? Did she go with Philip? But these messages were unread, so she never heard them, right?
Unless Philip came round here when she didn't answer. But then if she was here, why didn't she answer the phone message, I guess?
The apartment windows are closed.
Correct.
And the apartment door, is there a chain lock in addition to and it's normal? It wasn't broken?
It was not broken. It wasn't set.
Yeah. It looks as though she left of her own volition after being sick, maybe pulling all of her numerous medications into one convenient travel. I don't know.
Or she took the bottles that still had stuff in them and just left the empties.
Right.
And it seems she left in an awful hurry. I mean, there was a business matter that she left unanswered, an article. Professor, do you know perhaps what she was working on? If you know her in a professional capacity as far as her writings on Nazi Germany?
I bought books from her from time to time, but no, we didn't collaborate on anything, and I haven't seen her for a little while. So I've honestly no idea what she was working on.
Did you say something about lobbyists in the tape?
That is correct. Obviously, you can play the tapes back over and over again.
Yeah. Which sounds political.
So she was doing a political piece for this Zeitung, and that woman's name was something Gross, was it?
Magda's always been outspoken, too outspoken, if you ask me. In all the years I've known her, I've kept her at a distance because I did not want to get wrapped up in the things she was wrapping herself up in. It's not good for business.
She had a knack in sticking her nose in where it wasn't necessarily safe to do so.
So the messages that you heard, the first one was from somebody named Reide Schoenberg from Welt Zeitung. And it was an article about the lobby groups that she was writing. And then you heard Philip, and then you heard your wife. And then you heard Ryder postponing it, which probably by then was the next day.
Oh, so it said lobby. I heard Nazi and not lobby.
Oh,
that's I was like, what? Okay, it said lobby. lobby.
And the Welt Zeitung, is that a weekly or a daily publication?
I don't actually know.
I mean, I assume it's general knowledge.
Yeah, it's probably, say, monthly or week. It's monthly, probably. Wait, no, this is a Zeitung is a newspaper.
Zeitung is paper, yeah.
Yeah,
but they're weekly papers.
Probably a weekly.
They do longer form stuff often. Okay, so the place is a mess. She's not anywhere in it, we're sure. She wasn't dragged out. There's no sign of violence except for her own disordered lifestyle. You'd think she'd be getting takeout instead of eating these frozen dinners. I mean, maybe that's why she looked so poorly. It's a nice enough flat.
Standing back and taking a general view over everything, can I do observe a situation to get some more insight?
Sure.
Yeah. Perception.
Having similar thoughts.
Yeah. 6.
Oh.
So one question.
Yeah, you get to ask a question anyway,
Mhm.
but you get no bonus for it. And you missed something. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what is being hidden from me?
Well, I'd say that it becomes kind of obvious to you with the train schedule and everything that she must have gone. And that she didn't really care about anything in the apartment when she left. You also find it kind of odd because she's always been a very well-kept individual. You know, like I said, even the other night, her makeup was flawless. Her dress was very, well designed and so forth. Even if it did cover her all up, but this looks almost like she was panicked a little bit. And then it says that I get to make a move, which I still don't entirely know how to do that. I mean, I've got the stuff in front of me, but can I put that on a hold?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Right.
There's essentially a list of moves in the GM chapter as example things
Right.
that you do, but you don't necessarily have to do one if you don't think anything fits.
I don't think anything fits at the moment, so skip that for now. Dietrich, were you going to do something similar?
I was thinking of also doing observe the situation. Is that kosher? Just for us to be redundant like that?
Sure.
So why not?
You might get more than I did, and you can ask different questions.
And I've got better numbers for it. So that's I've got a +2, so that's 13.
13. So you can ask one question.
I'm going to ask, what can I use to my advantage in this situation?
Advantage. So as you guys are sort of, I mean, she's not there. You're looking around. You've checked the answering machine. You've got the letters. You check to see, if she's taken any heavy clothing with her from the closet, and you notice that in the bottom of the closet there is a large cardboard box. When you open it, it seems to be filled with journals, like lots of them.
Well, I was hoping it would be full of banknotes and I could surreptitiously shove my pockets full, but instead I'll make it generally known. She was keeping journals. Are they dated?
They are dated.
Yeah, I'll take the most recent one and start flipping through.
Okay, these are things that will take you days to go through. But I can give you this. Journals.
Split them up between us and then try and cover multiple books at the same time.
Or at least the last entry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she said something.
The entries are between 1962 to 64, 1968 to 71, 1972. Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm reading this wrong. I'm sorry. 62 to 64, 68 to 71, and 72 are missing. After 78, there's more, and the entries go to 1990, which is the last entry. I've actually got stuff for you to look at for this, but it's supposed to take you days going through it before you find it. So you could take this back with you.
All right. So, and there isn't the last page of the 1990 book doesn't have a splash of blood and writing going down.
Correct.
All right.
I hear them coming in the hallway.
So there is one for 65, just not on either side of it.
Correct.
And they start again at 73. And yeah, at 73 to 90, that's going to take some reading.
So, yeah. So after you've spent some time with them, I can go over this. Wait a second. It says characters need to investigate the diaries to glean important information.
Yeah.
So roll plus reason.
Right. Yeah. You can investigate.
Is that something we can all do if we're taking different journals between us?
Sure. And there's no reason to delay.
Oh, God.
8.
7.
No, yeah.
Plus 1 on that. Only 10.
Get some information, but we pay a price for it.
I got an 18.
Ooh.
Whoa!
I suddenly lose the ability to read. The text is that dense and horrific.
Even the drugs she was on, her handwriting might be quite maddening.
Indeed, her handwriting is erratic after the 90s. I mean, after 1990. I'm
Professor,
sorry,
do you want to...
after she moves back to Berlin. How did you do? I'm sorry. I was getting something ready.
8.
Morgan got it.
14.
Okay. Just a second to check this.
Can't see anything now.
All right, what you find, first of all, what you find is 3 names that keep popping up in the journals. The names are Sasha, Philip, and what's the other name? Sasha, Philip, and Anton keep
unholy
popping
trinity.
up.
The ones at the dinner table.
And after you're sitting there for a bit and you're going over this is more or less an excerpt of what you find.
15th of July, 1990. Back in Berlin, nothing seems the same. Though maybe they are. Philip took me to SA, completely different from when we started. No one wants to dig up the past, Philip least of all, but it's still there, hidden, like a dark shape lurking beneath the water's surface. Helga was nice. I will invite her over. 20th of October, 1990. Talked to Schroeder, overly confident about economic stabilization. Promised to do an article for Neue G about it. Philip showed up in the evening, first time in a month, excited. I think the police are after him. I don't know why I put up with him. Irene's wondering if I'm moving back to Hamburg. I'm considering it. 2nd of February, 1991. Played along with an occult ritual at SA last night. Totally harmless, but I still got nightmares afterwards. Shadows, trapped, cold, like something I remember, but I can't picture it. Woke up at 4 and rose. It's snowing. 24th of March, 1991. Philip's having nightmares about men tying him up and torturing him. Tried telling him the heroin only makes it worse. It's no good. Annual meeting for SA. I made it onto the board. Didn't really want the role, but it's not a heavy workload. Need to read my dream book. 3rd of May, 1991. Some secrecy over at SA again. A journalist called me up with the most absurd accusations of what's going on over there. It feels like I'm losing control of it all. Itching all over my body at night. 7th of July, 1991. The boils are spreading. Dr. Zemmelweis says it's just my imagination. Am I going mad? Philip can see them. The face in the dream, I can almost recognize it. I've got to get out of here. 22nd of July, 1991. I don't dare tell anyone about the worms. 6 doctors say I'm delusional. Got a box of Valium. Thought of taking them all at once, but I can't bring myself to do it. Called Irene and told her I'm coming back to Hamburg. 13th of August, 1991. Long message waiting on the answering machine. Philip ranting about curses and nightmares about men cutting him to pieces. I didn't have the energy to listen to him. Too tired. Haven't slept in weeks. This has all got to end soon.
Well, that gives us a highly probable date for the answer phone message. Being the 13th of August.
She hasn't been checking her messages in weeks then.
The diary describes a long ranting message. I don't think she's talking about this answering machine message.
It seems that Philip's paranoia or his visions haven't subsided because he's convinced of an impending doom. I mean, if he was caught up in curses and what is this SA she keeps referencing? Does that mean anything to anybody?
I have no idea. I know that the Tula Society was originally known as the SA briefly before it became the Tula Society, but that's going back to about 1910. And they dissolved years ago. They don't exist anymore.
Satanist Anonymous?
Maybe
You're talking about occult orders that cropped up in the 1960s. There are thousands of them. Almost every squat had one at one point.
I mean,
But this seems. I mean, there's talk of administration and positions. So it seems something more serious, something more established.
I don't assume that you get a job on the board of your average cult.
Yes. I mean, if it's got a board, wouldn't that mean that it would have property?
Sounds like a company. Thinking from my shared perspective with her, being that we both work in the journalist field, are there any publications or publishing houses that I can think of that have those initials?
I don't know if you would roll for something like that, but I'd say probably not. I mean, not off the
Didn't she
top
say
of your
that
head.
one of the entries was about a ceremony at the SA that was harmless, but she had nightmares?
An occult ritual or something. So whatever this organization is, and then there were some accusations about it. Does anybody have people who are connected with the contemporary occult scene? I don't.
No, definitely not.
Whatever I would know would not be local to Hamburg.
This was in Berlin.
Oh, this was before she came back. Right.
Whatever this SA
I'm
is.
afraid any knowledge of the subject I have is entirely personal and nothing of any groups and things.
Mine is rather academic.
The only groups I've heard of are things like the Golden Dawn. They're just like the Masons or something. This is something that sounds like something different. This is something quite well funded by the sound of it.
So
There were two words in particular in there that caught my attention. Dream book So I think I might be having a search through the rest of the apartment again, looking through any bookcases or shelves, etc., looking for anything that might meet that criteria.
Okay.
Is there a desk?
There is a desk. Yes.
Can I have a? I'll have a rifle through the desk, I think.
Okay. You don't find anything in particular.
Hmm.
And you also don't find a dream book.
She wanted to tell us something, right? I mean, otherwise she wouldn't have asked us to brunch.
Yeah.
It seems
Also, she was dressed in a fashion where she had a lot of her skin covered. And she was seeing boils that I guess none of the doctors on her calendar could see. But, you know, there are different kinds of sight. And worms.
Perhaps it's suggestion, but you all feel a little itchy now because the itchy and the worms.
well, I mean, it would explain the antipsychotics. I mean, if they thought she was seeing hallucinations.
Right.
Could I make an investigate roll, please?
Sure.
Bloody see them. 12 plus 3, 15.
Ask you 2 questions.
Right. Well, my first question, I think, is going to be, what is my gut feeling about what I'm investigating?
Your gut feeling is that there's something definitely supernatural involved here.
How can I find out more about that?
Research books. There's been quite a lot of text written about dreams, and of course that might be ponderous. There might be tons and tons of books written about.
Is there anything that comes to mind that's specific to Hamburg?
Not really.
Okay. So I don't know any book. I'm not really familiar with Hamburg at all. So that's unsurprising.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. I mean, nothing in particular about Hamburg comes to mind. Hamburg.
I'm going to take out a little notebook from my pocket and start copiously jotting notes, I think.
Okay. What next?
I'm a little concerned now about the lack of pills given these recent diary entries. Was she contemplating? I mean, it seems like she was contemplating suicide, but now all the pills in the apartment and herself are missing.
The good news is that you don't usually take your luggage with you when you take a lot of pills and throw yourselves in the river.
That's true.
That's the most promising thing. Is there a Berlin phone directory in the apartment?
Sure, yes.
So we've got her address on Leibnizstrasse, and we know her last name. I wonder if it's possible to call her apartment in Berlin.
Yeah, you probably can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Irene Adler. Magda Orlova, and you find the phone number. You call it, and there is no answer.
I'm not worried about the long distance because it's her apartment. No answer. And no answering machine either, I guess.
Correct.
It's probably full.
I missed something. When you guys were looking around the apartment, you do find a key hook on the wall with 4 sets of keys.
Is there one to Leibnizstrasse?
Well, you don't know, but a couple of the keys look similar to the key for this apartment, like the same maker.
We didn't encounter any. Sorry, we didn't encounter any locked doors.
No, you didn't encounter any locked doors. There also is one that looks definitely like a car key. And there's also a key that's marked Irene.
That's nice. They mutual trust.
You could probably guess that some of the other keys are for maybe her other apartment or
Quite.
In case, Irene gave us her address anyway, didn't she?
Yeah.
And-
We have
There's
her
a
card. Unless it's the
Right.
address to her office or something.
Is anybody opposed to committing a felony?
Depends what you.
I
It's a
want to
slightly
open her
small-
mail.
It's pretty tame as far as a felony goes. Go for it.
If I didn't see it, it's not illegal.
all right. The three letters. The letter from Alberto Mirandola. It contains an address and phone and fax numbers. Let's see. It appears to be from a book dealer who specializes in rare volumes. And all it says is something about him not being able to find the book that she's looking for. That rare Russian books are not really his specialty. That's all it says. It's also very formal.
I couldn't have bothered to put the title in there. Oh, all right.
Well, like I said, there's a fax number and phone number.
Yeah.
Let's see. Arnold Weiss. Arnold Weiss appears to be from the letter to be an old friend of Magda's. Let's see. You can glean from that his name, address, and phone number. And wait. Let's see. And he is a lecturer of Asian languages from the Free University of Berlin. And the rest of the message just seems rather inane. But once again, you have contact information there. And the final letter from John Masterton. He lives in London, and it seems to be just sort of a bulk mailing for the German Authors Association. So he might not even know who she is. She's just a name in a mailing list. That's all that gives me.
I wonder what book she was looking for. Diedrich, did she ever ask you about rare Russian texts?
Oh, we haven't been in touch in years. I mean, I don't remember her. She was certainly more in the Cyrillic department than I was when she had the bookshop, and that was forever ago. Sasha, of course, is Alex in Russian. Anton is also kind of an Eastern European name. I wonder if those were the fellows with Philip. And I wonder if Sasha and Anton know Piotr.
Well, they might be. And I wonder if Philip was Philip involved in the journal's with the same ritual that she attended?
I
Am I
got the
recalling
impression from that
correctly?
journal entry that all of the essay stuff had to do with Philip, that he was sort of dragging her into that. Is that your impression?
Yeah, I thought Philip was involved with that. So maybe this Sasha and Anton and Philip all were. And they found her at the awards because they were worried about something. They were worried about this. These follow-up phone calls were that night, right? Weren't they? Because they came before Zelma called on the following day. So he left Philip, Sasha, Philip and who we assume are Anton and Sasha, they left. And then that night, Philip in desperation is calling about some impending disaster. And then we all got sick and had nightmares for 2 days. This is also strange.
Well, we could take, let me see if one of these keys on the hook matches this place exactly, we can mail back Irene's and still have a copy to get in here.
That's a good idea.
Maybe we should take a set that might belong to the Berlin place, but we should go over and visit Philip next.
How much you want to bet one of these keys opens Philip's house apartment?
That's a possibility, certainly.
Does Philip live in Berlin?
Philip seems to be based in Berlin, but have haunted her up here. Maybe he's
May still be in town.
Also, I missed little things. The one of those keys is definitely a car key because it's got a car alarm button thing on it.
Yeah, you had mentioned that. You mentioned the car key, and if she was going to skip town, why would she not take her car?
It seems like she took the train, right?
Is there a garage here? Is her car still here?
There is a garage here it's underneath the building.
I want to take
something in the trunk too.
Yeah, I want to take the car keys and go look for her car.
Okay.
If she was feeling sick, it's probably that she didn't feel up driving, hence getting the train.
Maybe, but I'm just curious to see if there's any like luggage, if she was preparing to leave for some time, if there's something in the car. But before I forget it, Diedrich, I was wondering if you could craft a call later when you get home to this bookseller in Spain, ask that you had a client about looking for a rare Russian book, and just wanted to follow up and see how much research they had already done, as a fellow book dealer. Maybe they'll let slip the title. If you mentioned that Magda's come to you next and had mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not a bad business connection, and maybe he'll spill the beans.
Well,
if he doesn't have it, there's nothing to lose.
Right, and if we're trying to find out what Magda was involved in, we probably want to track down that book anyway, and there's no sense in doing research that they've already done if they'll give it to you.
Well, will do.
Yeah, to the car, or try to find the car.
All right. Well, what you find is two things. One is one of those keys is to the basement door, which you can't get through without the key. And then once you're down there, you look around and there are corresponding numbers on the stalls. You find her car. It is it's an Opel Vectra. And yes, it's sitting there. It's not dirty. She's had it cleaned probably recently. There's junk inside of it. Not a huge amount, but like most of us have in our cars.
A Vectra is pretty much junk on wheels anyway.
Yeah. And the keys are in. There's gas in the car. It's not a full tank, but she just didn't take her car apparently.
No luggage in the boot.
There's no luggage.
No dream book on the passenger seat.
No, just waiting there for you to take.
Waiting on the top of
No note to self find rare Russian text with this title.
No note saying save the cheerleader, save the world.
No fast food paper bag in the back seat with a
Yeah,
human
there's
hand sticking
probably
out.
no. Probably
Thinking
some
of
fast
place-
food.
Thinking of places in a car where you could potentially hide things, have a look at things like taking out all the crap in the boot, pulling up the kind of floor of it, and looking around the spare tire inset in there.
Okay.
Have a look to see if she's hidden, tried to hide something around the car.
Well, I could make you roll for investigation, but I don't think you don't find anything
Okay.
except a ravenous mouse. Nope, you don't find anything. So what would you like to do?
We do have an address for our good friend Philip.
I think we need to pay a visit to Philip.
We might find them both like unconscious with needles in their arms on the couch, although it seems like she was trying to hold that at bay for him.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if she's had some psychotic break or something, to be honest.
All right. So unless you want to do anything else here, you guys are going to pack up. What are you going to, are you taking the letters with you?
We copy the information from the letters.
Okay.
Maybe a little redundancy.
The addresses and phone numbers seem to be the most important bit.
Yeah.
Are you taking anything else with you?
We're borrowing her journals.
The address.
The
We'll roll
address.
the next thing.
All right. All right. And
Write
then
down the
where?
names of these doctors too, just to
Okay.
see what kind of doctors they are. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the question is how are you go? I guess however you got here is how you're going to Philip Kramer's place.
Mhm.
Also, the distance as well, because if it's like 10 miles away, then we're not going to walk it.
Well, I guess that
Does
was
it? Go ahead.
my question. Was does Philip live in Hamburg or does he live in Berlin?
Oh, that's right. He would live in Berlin, wouldn't he? Yeah, he's in Berlin.
I just want to make sure that we weren't leaving Hamburg and with that stone unturned. So
It's only 3 hours, so we could potentially go there, come back.
Well, you are eventually going back to Berlin anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
It becomes a question of whether we have any other business here. I know Zelma's, tired of watching me vomit.
You didn't send her back to take care of the shop.
I wasn't going to move rooms, and she was already here, and we have a kid who's running the till.
Mm.
I might have aroused a little maternal instinct in her that I haven't seen for some time. Whatever kind of affection we can manage is welcome. So, right. We can leave a message for Dieter that we've gone back to Berlin, and he'll catch up with us, and we'll fill him in.
Yeah, throw a note under his door. Hopefully, he doesn't think it's some stalker trying to throw him off the
He
scent.
will.
Yeah.
He will.
Don't stand right in front of the door when you slip the note through. Do it sort of sideways in case
Pay a bellboy. Come on, Dietrich. You pay a bellboy. If someone's gonna take a bullet, get the 17-year-old kid.
or what if we hired somebody to wear night vision goggles and then bungee down the side of the building?
Excellent idea. And golf,
Give
are
it
you
to him through the
volunteering?
window. No.
What do the players do when they get bored? They screw with Dieter. They walk by his door.
The poor
they
man's
walk
not
back,
well.
they
He's not
stop.
well. He's not well. The poor man.
All right. So you finish up at the apartment, and at this point, tell me individually. I mean, are you guys going to stick together? Are you going to go somewhere? You all have apartments.
What time of day is it?
What's your? Well, let's say by now it's going to be going on afternoon. We're like at 2:00. Let's say 2 or 3, 2:00.
Well, if we don't have any other lines of inquiry in Hamburg, then I'm going to go pack up my hotel room and start heading back to Berlin, I suppose.
All right.
Yes,
What are your-
yes, that's a good idea. And I think that the hotel wanted us to check, well, my hotel wanted me to check out at midday. So
What are your plans then? Check out and go home?
well, I think from my perspective, I'm going to check out and go home to Berlin, very much in the hope that I'm going to be able to visit Magda's apartment and knock on the door and find her there, hopefully. I think that's my motivation. But also in Berlin, I've got access to a lot more research material and the university library. And for a start, there's I know Carl Jung has written a lot on dreams, and I might start delving into that. It's not really my subject, but it might hold some indication of what this all means.
So let's generalize. Are you going to all drive back this evening, back to Berlin, spend a night in bed at home, and then sometime tomorrow get together and go to her apartment? Does that sound like
that sounds good? Yeah.
reasonable?
Yes.
We might
All
try to phone a couple times.
All right.
On the off chance that she actually is responsive. But I think if we're going to going together makes sense.
When you phone,
About the phone calls, I was going to say, when phoning her apartment, does it just ring, or is there an answer phone in Berlin as well?
it seems to just ring, but Dietrich kind of guessed that maybe her machine is full. But nothing happens. You don't get busy signal and you don't get an answer.
Okay.
I'd like
All right.
to ask around, and this is like putting out feelers. I don't expect an answer immediately, but maybe put out some feelers to people I know, in the Berlin underworld, and just see if has Magda made any strange requests lately, or does anyone know what she's been up to? Anything like that.
We'll assume you will do that when you get back to Berlin, when you've reconnected.
Yes.
All right. So the evening, you guys all end up driving back to Berlin, back to your respective places. You unpack, you put everything away. You don't know whether it's suggestion or what, because you keep thinking about it, but you all seem to be itchy. The sickness lingers a little, but it's not anywhere near as bad as it was 2 days ago. But now you feel itchy.
Any
And
rashes, or is it just?
well, because you keep itching, and before you've really even noticed that you're itching, you may have made it red by itching, by scratching it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you've got some red blotches where you've been scratching. And you don't know. I mean, is it in your head or is it, real? But that night,
Well, before I go to bed, if that's the case, I think I'm going to have a bath with capfuls of Dettol in it.
okay.
But I'll have a proper old man bath.
Okay. And it makes you feel better at the after it's over.
Disinfect myself.
But that night, the dreams come back, and it's odd. It's you're small, you're in the dark. There doesn't seem to be any way out. You feel incredibly helpless in the dark. You've pushed yourself against the wall. Something is there, but this time it hurts. Something is causing you pain, and the pain rises, and it gets to the point where you're actually almost panicking because of the pain. And then it rises to a level that just sort of obliterates everything else. And you wake up with a start. It's the middle of the night. And you feel like it was terrifying, a terrifying nightmare of some sort. And you don't really remember, there might have been more, but you don't remember any of the details of it. And you've never even imagined such pain. And you don't really know what to do either. You don't know if it's in your head or if it's something physical. John, it's not what you expect at all, considering your level of control. It's awful. Guys, maybe try to go back to sleep, but whenever you drift off, you start to experience that dark room again, and it frightens you. There's something there that's terrifying, and you have a very, very rough night trying to compose yourself, trying to get some sleep, get some rest, but something is really working its way into your head.
I'm going to, particularly if I experience this a second time in the evening, I'm going to see, can I use my advantage to see if I can break out of the dream before it starts getting painful?
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, dice. 11 plus 3, 14.
So you have limited success. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's you meet the intended person or arrive at the specific place. However, some element has changed or something followed you or the person in question. I'm trying to use the kind of principle of similarity to see if I can connect that kind of some aspect of that dream to another dream that I can then bounce to.
It's almost for a moment as if maybe there's a window somewhere near that you want to climb through to get away from whatever it is in this room. But when you get to it, it looks like you are miles from the ground below. And you are almost willing to climb out on the ledge and be safer on the ledge than you would be in the room. But in climbing out the window, you wake up and you're breathing hard and you're still terrified. It felt like you just moved from one terror to another terror.
Very curious.
The last thing I would like to do before we stop is Petra. Morning comes and you receive a call from Rolf.
Yes, what is it?
It's like, hey boss, have you been having your credit checked?
My
Are
credit
you guys making
check.
some big purchase?
No. Why?
Well, you know how you want me to monitor everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Make sure nothing's going on. I think there's somebody trying to find out information on you.
Like, how do you know this, Rolf? Like, what's
Well,
happening?
I got a call from somebody doing a credit check, and I went through the regular procedures, to deflect anything. But
Mm-hmm.
and it seemed legitimate. But it was like an hour after that, I got another inquiry. The kind of credit check they do when you're trying to purchase a house or something.
Sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to check to see what you said because it seemed a little odd. You hadn't said anything to me.
No. Any activity on the accounts?
Nothing. No, there's no missing money or anything like that. Nobody's making any credit card purchases or anything, but it's almost like they're just trying to find out info on you.
Well, I trust you didn't give them anything.
No, of course not.
It's very weird. Keep me informed on this.
You got
Let me
it.
know
I'll
if it
keep
happens
you informed.
again.
Got it. And with that, I think we're going to end it for this evening. And so now comes the upkeep.
Don't think we've managed to answer any of our dramatic cooks yet.
Well, so let's see. Find out how we all got sick and investigate the dreams were my two. And I believe that both of them have stemmed from some supernatural influence from Philip, Sasha, and Anton. Something at the SA occult ritual that has infected all of them has somehow been passed off to us, which includes the dreams. They were all having nightmares persistently, includes the itching, includes the sickness. So I think those two are answered to an extent, or we at least made progress towards those. Is that what matters?
Yeah, it's not necessarily finding the answers and resolving them. It's the fact that you attempt them, and it's something that shapes how you act in play. So you don't actually have to have answers. You can reach whatever conclusions you want, but as long as you tried to get towards them, then that counts.
Yeah, I might have wins then, because I'm what made us sail and what is Magda involved in? I know that Magda is involved in SA. I didn't know what SA means. That's the same sort of edgy thing. But I know that we've got a spiritual infection. I know that the worm I caught a glimpse of is something that she also was experiencing. And can't wait for the boils to start breaking out.
Don't think I have what she's worth to us yet, but I want to keep pursuing that because I think there's answers to be had there.
Well, I was tasked with finding out what the dream meant, and I don't think I found out what it meant, nor do I think that I really managed to do much research while I was in Hamburg, but hopefully I will resolve that next time.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
What about you, Matt? What was your other one?
Yeah, so we've got the find out what happened to make us all ill. Well, bounced around a few theories, had a look at people with enhanced awareness, and we've got something, so I might be onto it. I don't know, but at least attempted. And investigate what happened to Magda. Well, we went to the house, we dug around all her papers. I think that counts as well.
So was it one experience point for each dramatic cook?
Yep, one for each. There's also the 3 standard questions as we previously had. So have we discovered anything new about the truth? Well, that would be down to the GM if anything that we've uncovered so far would constitute that.
Something? Yes, I think so. I think you have found something about the truth.
Yeah, because we know there's something supernatural going on. So that's one for each of us as well. Hey, edging closer towards first advance. And the next one, have we learned anything new about our characters?
Learned someone's
have we learned anything new about ourselves, or have we learned anything new about our characters generally?
Yeah, the exact quote is, "Have we learned anything new about our characters?" I presume that means it's our own ones.
Our own development.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, never seems to know how to answer that one. It's be something like really kind of milestone, monumentally developed.
I learned that I'm willing to open up the mail of a missing person. Like, I don't think that really counts.
Yeah.
I'm certainly still in full denial about all of my flaws. So
I always thought denial was a river in Egypt, but oh well. And have we challenged ourselves?
Well, we broke out some of our supernatural abilities that are kind of risky to use.
Is that a challenge?
No, I don't know. I don't think
we definitely did some group bonding in that regard. Like, we're a little franker with each other than we were before this began.
Well, we did some things that were generally considered transgressive as well, like letting ourselves into someone's apartment and stuff like that.
Yeah, we were encouraged to do that by somebody who seems like a straight, but we then opened her mail and sniffed through her, journals and so on. But I don't think that, like, it's not the first time I've read somebody's private journals without their knowledge.
It's going into a friend's house and poking around their life, looking through their history, like their journals and so on.
I don't know if it wasn't particularly difficult for us to do, though.
True.
It's one of Dietrich's favorite things about estate sales is finding people's dirty secrets out.
So maybe just the one then?
Yeah, just the
From
one.
the three
I
questions.
think one out of three is what I think makes sense.
Yeah, sounds like consensus. So.
And then it's down to Tom to give us new dramatic hooks.
Yeah, whether you want to do one for each of us, one for the group again, and then we talk individually about what other characters can get.
Well, I do have a question for the better GM. No, that's you, Matthew. You know this. So I feel like I'm asking questions, or I'm giving you tasks, but I know you're going to fulfill them. So am I just handing you experience points?
Well, it's also that you're helping direct where you think that it would be most interesting for us to go in play as well. So it's kind of helping us and helping the story move along, and we happen to get XP out of it as well.
All right. I'd say that at this point, it's where is Magda? You need to try to find out where is Magda.
And then we need to fill in for, I think, John, Dietrich, and Ingolf. I'm assuming Dieters can kind of confront those that seem to be stalking him. I'm assuming that's not going to drop off the face of the earth anytime soon. So
if anybody's following him at all.
Someone's could easily just be, investigate Philip Kramer. That's we need to do it anyway.
Trying to discover what SA means.
Try to discover what SA means.
Or try to find out what book. I think if Dietrich's dramatic hook is trying to find what book she was looking for, there's the unknown Russian text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking that I would be. Well, I wonder which of us is most likely to know somebody who could identify a secret occult organization. Like, I was thinking I might know about, like, there's a list of 6 weirdos who ask for the darkest books, and I could call and say, "Oh, Dolph, have you heard of this SA?"
I think
But it
that
might be somebody else.
as John is a reporter who's hitting the streets. He goes to weird, he goes to strange clubs.
Right. Right. Maybe that should be John's. John's on the essay trail primarily.
He would be better at running things down, or at least trying to find something through social connections and the like. So
Yeah, I can have mine as investigate essay.
Good one.
Yeah, I like that. And mine will be,
The German book. Yeah.
Russian, right?
Yeah,
And maybe other stuff of Magda's, whatever else I can find about Magda's business, but that's the lead.
And in golf, you kind of have a tie to Philip Kramer anyway, right?
I've known him before as an artist, and I mean, I just, my character felt like he was looking directly at me.
Right.
If he was looking at the table, he was looking at all of us, but it just felt so personal that I think that find out why Philip Kramer was so interested in us.
That's a good one.
It's a good question. It's not just finding him, it's,
why. The emphasis is that it's a verb. It's something that you should ... One of the examples is confront. So yours could be confront Philip.
Yeah, I should confront Philip. That will be it.
And I think Heinz still has his. Am I right in that?
Research.
The dreams.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, if there's more to learn from that, then you continue investigating it. Okay. And I'm keeping mine about what Magda's worth to us. I feel like I can learn that.
Now, here's a question, right? What happens if you're given a task and you just can't complete it? And then your character progresses into other scenarios.
You can ditch a hook between sessions if you realize that it's something that you can't do. Because if it's something that's going to hang around, or you've gone a few sessions having kept it from one to the next, and you realize I'm either not getting anywhere with it or it's impossible to do, you can elect to voluntarily ditch one of them, and it frees up a slot that then either the GM or the other players fill.
Okay.
I answered your question, by the way, Nick.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. So shall we finish it there? All right. Our players included Matthew Sanderson, David Gasway, Holly Buteau, Morgan Llewellyn, Josh Harwood, and Mick Swan, with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets, the Game Master. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the strange and terrifying world of KULT Divinity Lost role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.